Hello, well, I'm bringing you the second devotion where we're looking at the Swedish model, the Swedish method, sorry, thinking about one of the ways that you can read the Bible. So, just to remind you of the little pictures, we have a light bulb, question mark, an arrow, and a speech bubble. And so the light bulb is to think about what's an idea that shone through to you or stood out to you, a big idea from the passage. And I'm going to do that looking at Psalm 23 today. So why don't I read it, which I've already done numerous times, and pray, and then I'll talk to you about my light bulb. Psalm 23, a Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So I'm going to bring you some of the light bulb things from this passage for me. So these are things that shone out to me, things that stood out, things that I thought were remarkable, as in worthy of remark. And I mostly just have two things to say. The first thing is that this is a Psalm of David that begins by saying, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing," which is a shepherd reflecting on the shepherd nature of God, which is probably not new to you, but I still think that that is really significant. That we have David, who is a shepherd, thinking about how God is his shepherd. And that this shepherd, God, does all of the right things that a shepherd should do. He leads him by green pastures. He leads him beside quiet waters. He refreshes this shepherd's soul. So that's the first thing that stood out to me. That's something that shone through in the passage. And the second thing is just the language of what this shepherd is like. It tells us, the psalmist tells us that this shepherd is with me. He is beside me when I go through the darkest valley. And then it says that this shepherd prepares a table before me when I'm in the presence of my enemies. And then lastly, this shepherd's goodness and love follow me all the days of my life. So the shepherd, he's not just guiding, like, you go ahead and I'll follow. And he's not just leading the way and you're coming afterwards. He's beside you, and he follows you, and he leads you. He does all three of these things. He goes before you, he's beside you, and his goodness and love follow behind you. Now, I'm just bringing some ideas. So these are some of the things that shone out to me. I could tell you about how the questions that I have, or the application that I have as well, and then some of the people that I'd like to tell about this passage, but that is for future days of this week. At the moment, I'm just bringing a reflection of what the passage, what stood out to me from the passage. So maybe you can do the same as you look at Psalm 23 today. Adios.